Chun Ji is a pattern. A pattern is a pre-choreographed sequence of movements or a fight scenario against invisible, imaginary opponents. It helps develop your subconscious reflexes and your automatic reactions to aggressive stimuli. Chun Ji is composed of two parts: 4 directions of attack and defense with a low block step punch, and 4 directions of defense and attack with an inner forearm block or muscle block step punch. After you've defended and attacked in all 4 directions twice, you step forward and punch 1 extra time, and then backwards and punch 2 times. The imaginary opponents you're defending and attacking are first your left, then your right, then your front, then your back. One opponent is attacking from the left with a front kick, then to the right with a front kick, then the front with a front kick, then from the back with a front kick. The second half of the pattern is the same: left, right, front, back, but with a rear-facing orientation. Left, right, front, back. And this opponent is punching you. Every time you do a low block or a punch, you should be in a front stance or walking stance. The front knee should be bent at a 120-degree angle. The line of the front knee should line up with the back of the front heel. The back leg should be straight, and both toes should be pointing in the same direction as much as you can. Don't let the back toes slip off to the side. Make sure your upper body is erect. Your weight distribution should be 50-50, half your weight on each leg. The back heel should stay on the floor. Don't lean forwards so that your heel comes off the floor. The low block swings down in an arcing motion from outside your body. Your elbow should be bent at 120 degrees. The arcing motion should come from the shoulder and the hip, not the elbow. You're striking with the forearm, the area between the elbow and the wrist. The other hand extends and pulls back to form a complementary rotationary force with the body and the arm. Make sure the arms crossed in front of you are at eyebrow level and far away from your body, so both elbows are bent at a 120-degree angle. This way you have maximum distance traveled in least time traveled. So you cross your arms in front of and slightly behind you. If you pull your arms back too much, you tense the muscles around the shoulder and the hips, and you slow down the technique. Please check out my speed and power tutorial on YouTube. While doing Chun Ji, it's important to be able to identify which is your front and which is your back, leg, and hand. If you look down and stomp the leg you see when you look down, you'll be stomping your front leg. If you clap your arms to your side, the arm touching that leg will be your front arm. When you punch and block in Chun Ji, you're always using your front leg and your front arm. So make sure when you step punch, you punch with the front arm. The timing of the punch and step is important. The step takes more time than the punch. So make sure you hold the punch until the end of the step so that the punch can travel at maximum speed and finish at the same time as the step finishes. Don't slow the punch down to keep up with the step. Wait to start the punch. Let's do the first half of Chun Ji. Cross your arms, shift to the left, low block. Step forward, punch. Cross your arms in your chamber. Look down, identify your front leg. Pick it up, swing it around backwards towards your buttock, 180 degrees to the other side of the room. Put it down in a front stance and low block. Step forward, your back foot moving forward and punch. Cross your arms, look down, stomp. That foot picks up, spin 90 degrees towards your butt and low block to the front. Step forwards and punch with the other arm and leg. Cross your arms, look down, stomp. Pick that foot up, swing it towards your buttock to the back, low block in a front stance. Step forward and punch. Come back to Jim B. A lot of people have trouble identifying which direction to spin when transitioning from one direction to another in Chun Ji. When you pick up the front leg, pretend you have a tail sticking out behind you. When you pick up that front leg, someone is pulling on that tail. That will automatically swing you in the correct direction. So imagine your tail is being pulled as you spin your 180 and 90 degrees. After each block in Chun Ji, it's important to step forward and punch. Shifting is not correct. The back foot should step in front of you as if you were walking. Don't shuffle or shift. Pick up that back foot, cross in front of your body, put it down for the punch. The second half of Chun Ji uses an L stance for the block as opposed to a front stance. To get to an L stance, make your feet in the shape of the letter L. Move your front foot 2 foot lengths forward. Bend both knees so that 70% of your weight's on the back leg and 30 is on the front. Bend the front arm as if you're flexing your muscle. Make sure the elbow is bent at a 120-degree angle. The top of the knuckles should reach the same level as your shoulder. Cross your arms at eyebrow level and swing your front arm out into the muscle and your back arm to your belt. To perform the second half of Chun Ji, you go to the same position that you ended the first half in. Your front foot swings 90 degrees to your left, L stance, muscle block, step punch. Cross your arms, pick up your front foot, spin around backward 180 degrees, L stance, muscle block, step punch. Cross your arms, look down, stomp. Your front leg follows your butt 90 degrees to the back, L stance, muscle, step punch. Cross your arms, front foot, spins around backward towards your butt to an L stance, inner forearm guarding block, step forward punch. Step forward punch 1 extra time, then step backwards and punch 2 times. Your back foot steps to your front foot to return to Junbi position. Now that you've learned the movements, we can begin discussing the smaller details of Chun Ji. This second section is for more advanced students. You have 2 bones in your forearm, the radial under the thumb and the ulna under the pinky. When you cross your arms in a chamber for a low block or an inner forearm guarding block, the bone that's going to strike the attacking tool should touch the other arm in a chamber. So when you're low blocking, you cross on top. When you're inner forearm guarding or muscle blocking, you cross on the bottom. When blocking in a front or walking stance, your hips should be quarter facing or side facing like this. As opposed to when you're punching or striking, your hips should be full facing, as should your shoulders. So identify which move is a strike and which move is a block, and make sure to adjust your hips accordingly while doing Chun Ji. So if you're punching, square the shoulders and square the hips. If you're stepping backwards, the same. Make sure you're in a good front stance with your hips squared and your shoulders squared, full facing. When you're low blocking, make sure your hips are open like this, but not when you're punching. When you're low blocking, it's important to create as small a target for your opponent to hit and for you to defend as possible. Having your hips quarter facing allows this to happen. When you put your low block out, the area between your knuckles and your elbow will cover your entire body if your body is quarter or side facing. If you go full facing while blocking, you're exposing yourself unnecessarily. It's important to transition all of your techniques using the sine wave method for Chun Ji. You shift your weight down, rise up, and then come down for your strike or block. When spinning around backwards, you shift your weight backwards and down, rise up and spin, down and block. Forwards and down, up, down and block. Cross your arms, shift backwards and down, rise up 90 degree spin, down low block. If you tried to just pick up your back leg and move forward, if you didn't shift your weight, then you would just fall down. You don't want to launch yourself upwards and forward. You want to use a smooth, graceful, flowing transition, the sine wave, consisting of a down, an up, and a down motion. Practice this in all of your moves for Chun Ji. If you want a greater detail on how to perform the sine wave, check out my power tutorial on my YouTube channel. Down, up, down. Backwards, down, up spin, down. Forwards, down, up, down. Forwards, down, up, down. Backwards, down, up, down. Backwards, down, up, down. The strike is always thrown on the last down. This is what not to do. See how I'm not shifting my weight forwards and down, but launching upwards and throwing myself into the next technique? You have far less control of your body when you do this, and the timing will be off. So you want to push downward into the next technique. Don't seesaw. See how I'm rocking forwards, then backwards into the next technique? Don't do that. When you chamber, don't pull your arm to your ear. This contracts that muscle in your shoulder. Don't straighten your arm all the way. That's bad for your joint and leaves your body exposed. You want to relax the shoulder, make a nice big chamber, but not so big that you're tightening the muscles. You don't want to straighten the arms all the way. You don't want them too low or too high or too far back. They should be right in front of your back eyebrow at the same level with the elbows bent at 120 degrees. not too close to your eyebrow, just like that. A nice big arc. Don't bring your arms in and collapse the elbow before you block. This destroys the centripetal force effect that we're creating with this big chamber. The inner forearm guarding blocks or muscle block should not be swung up in a twisting motion from the shoulder. The shoulder is a fairly weak joint. You want to use the lats, the triceps, the back, and the hips to throw the inner forearm guarding block or the muscle block out. So when you chamber the same as the low block, just the arms crossed on the bottom. Don't wrap it tightly around your body, and don't reach it down to your belt. Cross big and pull down to it. The angle of your wrist is very important for punches and blocks. There should be a straight line along the top of your wrist to the first two knuckles of your pointer and middle finger, and the inside line along the radial bone to the inside of the pointer finger knuckle. Don't bend your arms upwards, downwards, in, or out when you're blocking or punching. This will cause you to strike and bend your wrist when throwing a technique at a solid target. You want to form a clean, buttressed line for all of your techniques, be it a low block, a punch, or an inner forearm guarding or muscle block. Keep the wrist straight. Now let's put everything together and do all of Chun Ji with good stances, memorization, technique, and detail. Thank you very much for watching my Chun Ji tutorial. Please don't forget to share, comment, like, and subscribe.